Okay, welcome back to it, everybody. I thought I'd make a quick video on this, something I never thought I would talk about. Fleetwood Mac. What the heck? No, just kidding. I love Fleetwood Mac, and I've already made some videos on them. And I'm gonna make some more, but I didn't think I'd ever make a video that was a bootleg, bootleg anything, but a bootleg compilation. Unless I started talking about the Buckingham Nicks, record from way back in '73. But yeah, I don't know. I just saw this one day. It was released last year, before all this madness, but I just couldn't resist picking it up. And I'm usually careful not to buy bootlegs. I know I have a Pink Floyd Live in Pompeii LP bootleg before they put some official audio out on it. I've got a Queens of the Stone Age bootleg debut LP with some cool album art. But what I'm trying to say is I generally don't collect bootlegs, but this just, I don't know, I couldn't resist this one because I'm always obsessed with the lineup changes in Fleetwood Mac and what everyone did outside of Fleetwood Mac, and I love I love the Wilderness years just as much as the Lindsey Buckingham years, just as much as the Peter Green years, and I'm also Becca Bramlett era apologist. I think they cooked up some cool stuff for that one too. So yeah, this is it. It was issued in Argentina on Music Brokers, and it's a gatefold, and it's got a little story in there. And essentially what it is, because I haven't really discussed it yet, is it is a compilation of, it's the many faces of Fleetwood Mac, but they really don't cover everyone. But it's a compilation of offshoot projects and solo projects of, these people like Lindsey Buckingham, of course Dave Mason of Traffic fame, who was in the band in the mid-90s for their least successful era, unfortunately. You got Mike Campbell and Neil Finn, who were in the most recent iteration of the group. You've got Billy Burnett, who was on the, he was obviously on the Tango in the Night tour, and then he did Behind the Mask with them, and then he stuck around. Mick convinced him to stick around till Time. Yeah, you got Christine, you even got Stevie show up, Bob Welch, my guy, I love that guy. So it all starts off with Man of the World, which is the famous Peter Green composition, and the one where some people started to realize, this guy's not happy. But he wrote one of the coolest songs. It's a great single. Right up there with Need Your Love So Bad. Amazing late 60s, early 70s stuff. So it does start with Fleetwood Mac, and then it goes into the offshoots right away with Jean featuring Lindsey Buckingham. I was going to actually show the record. It's a weird marbly white. So, in case anyone's wondering, I'm sure Discogs has photos, but I thought that was kind of cool when it showed up. It's a cool curiosity, but this, spoiler alert, it's nothing that I'm going to say is essential to really anyone except hardcore collectors and that. But yeah, what can be said, going back to the track listing? Man of the World, great way to start it, and the sound quality is okay. It's nice and bass heavy, basserific. The low end sounds good. Most of it doesn't sound very CD quality, official release quality, but it sounded okay. Some of the older stuff, well, not the Man of the World, but some of the kind of 80s stuff, like the Walter Egan stuff, doesn't sound very good, but I'm not sure if it ever did anyway. Other than a couple tracks, I'm not a big fan of that guy. He's not my favorite guy in the world. There's the back. But yeah, back to the... So anyway, it starts with Man of the World, which, I mean, is a way to set yourself up for failure when you're doing a compilation. Because then it goes to Jean. So that's not Egan or Lindsey Buckingham's best, and that's why it's on here, is it's Walter Egan with Buckingham, and Buckingham helped Egon out a little bit, and definitely elevated some of his tunes, but not enough. And this one is weird. It sounds Lindsay is having a fit in the background. He's like lots of wordless vocals, and I don't mind that kind of stuff, but it doesn't work for this song. A better example is Teen Beat, which is on the 25 Years of the Chain. Just an oddity that I think they might have cut in the Mirage era, probably. Definitely in the 80s at some point. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird oddity in the discography of Fleetwood Mac, Teen Beat, but this Gene song does not work for me. Then you have Draw the Line, which is a Dave Mason one. It's from 1987. It was on the Some Assembly Required album. It's pleasant enough, like a lot of Mason's work. I got to admit, I was more familiar with his 70s stuff. I think his debut record in the 70s was amazing. I love that one. I would love to get it one day. And I only haven't bought it because it's usually about $40. And I missed an 07 when I started collecting, and vinyl was so yeah, I guess I digress. Yeah, I would like to get that one day for sure. And then you have Walter Egon again. He crops up again, and this one's with Christine and an 80s beat, and this one's a lot nicer than the below average Gene. Even though I'm not a big Walter fan, this isn't really Walt's best, but Christine can make almost anyone sound good. She's amazing, her studio work with certain artists, and of course this band in general. Yeah, she definitely elevates it. Then you have, and that one's called Only Love Is Left Alive. And then you have Ring of Fire with Billy Burnett. And, oh no, it's cover time. Ring of Fire, the famous Johnny Cash song. But this, sadly, when I got to this one, I mean, Gene was kind of a downer, but then I got to this one and I'm like, oof, this shows me where the quality of the release is. This is kind of it's a very scattershot mix with eras and sound, and it's all over the board quality-wise, and this is not a good cover. I do like Billy, and I've been meaning to get and read his book for the last year or two. I would love to see his take on Fleetwood Mac. I know that's only a very short but storied phase of his career, but I would really like to read his book anyway and figure some of that out, get a fresh take. And I do like his work with the band, but, you know, I think for his solo work, they could have chose something a little more inspired than a lame Johnny Cash cover. Doesn't work, in my opinion. Then you have, then it goes live, and the sound quality dips again, but it's Bob Welch featuring Stevie and Mick, and you can get this on, you can get the whole set on CD and I think LP. I've seen it for sale a few times, and I have all of Bob Welch's studio work and compilations, but I don't have the live record, because I don't know if it's official or not. The sound quality on this one's pretty bad. I said it was kind of okay on the other ones. It's pretty bad on this one. It's a live cover of Gold Dust Woman, and it doesn't have the same fire as, even though Mick is there drumming, it doesn't have the same fire as Lindsay and Mick playing, backing up Stevie. It's okay, it's just not as kinetic. Obviously after Ring of Fire and Gene, it's not the low light on the record, and it's cool to have the crowd get hyped and everything. Okay, let's see if this works now. Please work, please work. Sorry, someone came to the door, and then I answered the door, and it's hours later now. My girlfriend came home, and we had dinner, and yada yada yada, and I'm like, oh, I gotta, continue this video, and then the memory filled up, so I switched cameras, and then recorded a whole part with no audio in it. Oh, we're really professional here at AC Towers. Um, so anyway, um, next up was Breakaway. Actually, that's a typo. It's Breakaway. So it's also off 1987. Some assembly required. And then, so that's a decent track. And then it's about on the same level as Draw the Line. Then you have New Dress, which is Jonathan Brooke and Neil Finn, but I was expecting a man's voice. It says Jonathan Brooke, and I didn't know who Jonathan Brooke was. And this was a really cool surprise, and a really cool song. Great vocals, uh, amazing chords, and Neil Finn's backing vocals are really cool on it too. I believe it's about a lady who comes back from service or a war of some kind, and she's in her military garb, and basically the man's saying, get out of that uniform and into your new dress. That's my shallow take on it. I'm not sure. I haven't done any research on that one. Next up is Silvery Sleep, another Walter joint, but this one is okay. It's with Christine McVie. I think it might be my favorite Walter Egon track on the whole set, but there's 4 of them, so it takes up 4 out of 11. It takes up a lot of the track listing. And then next up, after the Ring of Fire, I was kind of like, oh no, here it comes, Jammin', Bob Marley cover, and not another cover, but this one they do justice. This one is David Garfield, who may or may not love lasagna and hate Mondays, and Mike Campbell and Brandon Fields. And it's a nice instrumental track, very danceable, amazing guitar playing, and no one tries to sing. No one tries to one up Marley, which is good because he's one of those artists you can't really cover him and do him justice. And the horn section, I keep thinking my cat's on the list. The horn section does the vocal parts, and the instrumental. It's probably the longest track. This or Goldust Woman. The durations aren't on here. It's probably the longest one. It has Room to Breathe. Yeah, I thought this one was great. Definitely a highlight. Alternatively, though, is the closing track. Is Someone Like You, Walter Egon featuring Lindsey Buckingham, and Lindsey, bless him, he does a good effort, but the track is just like this old 1940s sounding song that it doesn't sound like anyone would care about years later, and it doesn't work for me. It really sets everything, it really ends everything on a whimper. Don't like that one. Probably the worst. This or Ring of Fire, probably the worst one. And really, I at the end of the day, I can't really recommend the set because it's so scattershot and so random, and the sound quality is all over the place, and the quality of the tracks are all over the place. And but interestingly, you get Fleetwood Mac in concert, side C and D, and these are from the same tour that The Dance was recorded in 1997 when the Rumors lineup, the Rumors 5, got back together after 10 years. They hadn't toured. Actually, more than that, because Tango and the Night didn't get a tour. And they'd only played since the mid-'80s together at the Bill Clinton inauguration, and I think that was only 1 or 2 songs. Definitely Don't Stop. There's definitely video of that. And yeah, the band was back, and people were excited, and this isn't taken right off The Dance. These are different. I can't tell if it's the same night or not. I think it's the same night, but not like mastered the same and remixed and edited as much. So these are kind of more live off the floor takes, which in my opinion is pretty cool, and maybe that's worth the price of admission here. But you get Dreams, which sets everything alight. So right out the gate you can tell these aren't in order, and there's only 10 of them, so it's not even close to the full set list. It's not even half. But it starts with Dreams, whereas the set would have started with The Chain and gone into Dreams. and this is a great take on Dreams. Really punchy, great percussion, of course, and Stevie's singing in a different register, but it works on this one, I think. And how fitting, because of how much Dreams has bounced back into public consciousness and retaken the top 40 and the top 10, and everyone and their mothers are listening, and it's cool, and makes me thirsty for some Ocean Spray Cranberries. And then we have You Make Love and Fun, which is cool. It's cool to hear this one and Don't Stop, a little rougher. And of course, Don't Stop is dual lead vocals from Lindsay and Christine. And of course, Lindsay is very raw. Big Love is next, and that's the one that sounds the most the same as the official release, because it's just Lindsay and a guitar, and he's going completely nutso on the guitar, but there's not as much to change, and it sounds pretty much the same as the chain version, or the dance version rather. And then Gypsy is, interestingly, the fifth and last one of side C, which didn't make the vinyl cut or the did it make the CD cut? No, it was only on the DVD, which is usually how I experience the dance. I listened to the CD a ton as a kid, borrowing my parents' copy before I got my own. I don't think I got my own till I moved out of the house and realized, hey, now I'm missing my favorite Fleetwood Mac release. So it's cool to have that one on here, because it's not on that official LP that came out a couple years ago that I treasure so dearly. Side D starts with Everywhere, one of my favorite Christine cuts, especially from the Rumors era, as I call it. 1975 to 87 is all the Rumors era, the 5 albums that those 5 put out. Go Your Own Way is next, and I love this rendition. It's so raw, and Lindsay's voice is so different than the recording from the 70s, 77. But so good. Maybe my favorite version. The Chain also can't beat the live version, whether it's 82 or 1997. I feel like The Chain just has so much punch and fire to it. Landslide is kind of like Big Love, because it's just voice and guitar. This time Stevie's voice as opposed to Lindsay's, but Lindsay's playing guitar. And it's also the closest to the recordings that would go on the official release, because there's not as much to clean up on these ones. And then Say You Love Me ends it, which is great and all, but I think that Tusk could have ended it in an explosive way, Mushmouth, and or Songbird could have ended it in a nice somber way. So at the end of the day, I can't honestly recommend this to you guys unless you're like a huge Fleetwood Mac nut like me and have to have and I'm not even close to getting there, but have to have every vinyl release. And this is my first foray into, actually I might have one other bootleg, but it didn't come with a sleeve or anything. It just came just the record, and that was a Bob Welch live one, and I think I have a Peter Green one. But yeah, so it's not my first foray into bootleg, but this isn't usually the kind of stuff I collect, but just for some nutcase like me that loves all the offshoots of Fleetwood Mac and loves exploring, what the members do outside of the group and collaborations and stuff like that. Not that this comes anywhere close to having everyone and or the best of what people were doing outside of the band, but there's a couple curiosities, and as weird as it is to say, for that live stuff, alternate dance stuff, and I'm sure you can find all that stuff so easily online, but to have a physical copy and to have a cool gatefold and the stories behind the tracks and all that, and the fact that it's this crazy marble, like I showed it already earlier. I mean, I'm not gonna regret buying it, but I can't honestly recommend it to you guys. So it's so weird doing this video a second time. But thank you so much for watching. What are your favorite Fleetwood Mac bootlegs? Has anyone heard of this one? And yeah, I just appreciate the comments. That's what has kept me posting, even though I don't really have many subscribers. But especially on those Fleetwood Mac, or not Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd Toy Boat, those related videos. It's cool to hear people's takes and people's greetings, and have a couple, conversations with people. That's what it's all about, reaching out. Um, but with that, I think it's just time to call it. So yeah, rock on, everyone. Peace and love. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Adios.